Hey friends. Well, I can't say I'm out of the woods as far as how I feel, but I at least woke up this morning excited to go to school, which hasn't happened in quite a while. So, that was a step forward. And I had a really interesting flash come to me earlier today. And it had to do with the way our families form us. I had this momentary thought or glimpse of what an enlightened, for lack of a better word, a liberated perspective might feel like. And by enlightened, the way I define enlightenment is kind of coming to me as we speak, and I've certainly ingested and digested a number of different takes on this idea over the years, but I feel like enlightenment most fundamentally is a certain liberty from our conditioning. And that involves, so in other words, all the programming, all the karma, all the memory that we carry doesn't mean it all goes away, but it means we know that it doesn't define us, that it is, we know that it is not our essence. And that sort of inherently involves moving our identity, our sense of identity, out of the mind. Because in the mind, it's all programming. It's all recycled thought, as Sadhguru would call it. It's all past impressions and inputs and existing data being rearranged in a new way. So we have to have our identity located somewhere outside that in order to be free of it. Now that doesn't mean it all goes away. And I was having this interesting impression this morning of, I was thinking about my brothers actually. It started with thinking about one brother, and then I started kind of rippling out through the rest of, because I'm lucky enough to have 3 brothers. And I was thinking about how when I meet other people in the world, particularly men, I relate to them in the ways that I relate to my brothers. For good or for ill, some of my brothers might say, "Ooh, yeah, I feel sorry for everybody else." But the fact is, the way I formed my peer relations, my sense of a peer relationship with other men of about my age and status, if they're an authority figure, if I'm meeting someone who's either substantially older or in a position of authority, or a teacher, mentor, then I think that it changes, and it might be more of like a father imprint that gets activated. But this whole kind of thought experiment started just on the level of peers and other kind of like equal status men. And I realized, on some level it was kind of obvious that those family relationships are where we form our initial template of what those relationships are going to look and feel like with everybody else in life. And then I started thinking, Well, that's true, but there's something else going on too. Because as I begin to imagine, as I was saying before, as I begin to imagine a glimpse of what an enlightened state might look like, I feel like the the aspects of my relationships that are conditioned by those formative years and those formative relationships, those aspects are restricted to the specifics and the kind of psychological way that I relate, the words I use, the thoughts I think, the interests I have, the things I like and don't like, the all the kind of like intricacies of personality and interpersonal relationship. That's what's conditioned by those early relationships. There's a fundamental love that has nothing to do with that conditioning, and that love comes from a place of utter. It's another dimension. It's a totally different dimension of being, and the energy that then infuses those specifics and what is charging through and coursing through my personality, and then in dialogue with other people, bouncing off those other people's personalities, the fundamental energy is not conditioned, and it actually it's free. It's completely unconditioned. It's completely unconditional. And I thought to myself, oh, that's so interesting, because all of a sudden there's going to be ways that there's going to be types of people that I relate to better because of my personality. There's going to be relationships that I'm going to find more traction with. And that's the part of the coin that, that's kind of like, that's just accepting who I am and accepting my own personal, the features of who this body mind is. But what's really interesting is that none of that even affects, and certainly doesn't limit, the love and the consciousness and the presence that I bring to each moment and that I bring to each relationship. So I think, to sort of summarize where all this was going, it was like I was appreciating what the formation of my family relationships has done for me. That's what I was thinking about, and just kind of like rolling through certain elements of life and my personality and my family and friends, and that I can attribute to this kind of early formation, and then going, yeah, but there's something totally transcendent to that. There's something totally beyond that. And so then I suddenly gain the ability to hold this conditioning totally easily, gently. It's not a burden to schlep around. It's just this particular life. Every once in a while, I like to just take a new idea and see where it leads. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great day. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.